time again for Agent Spotlight, and today we have the pleasure of meeting with Steve Montgomery. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
Hello. So as always, I want to start to talk about your background, what industry you were in before real estate, and just kind of your journey into the business.
Sure. Before getting into real estate, I was a teacher for about 15 years. Obviously, that's the majority of my background. So I graduated college originally from the University of Kentucky with an elementary ed background, and then I got my master's as a reading specialist. So I taught in Albuquerque, New Mexico for a couple years, and then I taught in Lexington, Kentucky for the majority of my teaching career.
And then how about to real estate? Because I'll say it again, teachers make fantastic real estate agents. So
Sure.
What was that journey about to real estate?
So basically, we had, my wife and I had our second child, and then we realized we just couldn't afford to live anymore because she was not working. She was taking care of the kids. So that's why we made the financial decision to do that. And so we were a family of four living off teacher salary, and here in Orlando, a teacher salary is, even with 15 years of experience and a master's, was just over $40K. So a family of four, we were actually still on the poverty level. So we were, getting food stamps and things like that. And I was just like, this is just not really the lifestyle I wanted to live. And realizing, because there was no way out of that. And at that same time, I had both my hips replaced, and I also had my pacemaker put in. So it was just kind of this cycle that I could see myself going into. Plus we had tons of debt medically, and I was like, there's no way out of this cycle. So realized there was, very few jobs that were legally going to allow me to make the money that I needed to in order to kind of break free of that cycle and provide a life that I wanted for my family. So I looked into real estate, and I kind of didn't look back.
First of all, I love your transparency because what you're talking about is happening all over the place in America and Florida as well, of people struggling, can't make ends meet, find themselves in debt, and you kind of glossed over it, but the health issues and medical bills, which I'm sure were coming in. You had 2 babies at the time. So I want to talk about that a little bit because I'm sure it was super scary to jump into a commission-based business. What was that first year like for you, coming from teaching, jumping into real estate?
Basically, all I did was, when I first got into real estate, I just did whatever people told me to do because I realized I had no choice but to make it, because my only options were do this, or I was basically going to go completely fail, and we were going to have to move back in with my parents or something at the time, which was not an option really. So that was like July, and then by September, I was working 7 days a week, just lead generating literally, and then so I was calling, doing everything they told me to do, and then doing 2 open houses, at least 2 open houses a weekend, and just doing whatever I could. By September, I had 4 homes under contract, and it was just crazy. And so by October, finally got paid, and so it was great. And then we started building up things, and and we still, by January, we still made the financial decision to go into bankruptcy for me. So it was still hard because we had so much debt. But in the meantime, I still sold, I think it was about 23 homes, and we ended up like 3.2 million in volume the first year.
Amazing.
And as a single agent, and just, it was 2014. So I basically just did. I had come to Florida. I really had no sphere at that point. So it was really just all beg, borrow, steal. Whatever I could. There was a few agents in the office that literally just gave me a couple of leads for like $30,000 condo or $70,000. Like whatever. Yeah. I didn't care because to me it was a paycheck. And it was to the $30,000 condo. It was $1,000, but that literally paid my mortgage for a month. So I didn't care. I'll take it. I'll go run with it, and got it closed. And that person then became a client and then I turned them into 2 more leads later on. So I'll take whatever I can get. So I was just in a position where I had to do whatever I could to just get deals closed because it was cash. And I did what I needed to do. And like I said, we with the bankruptcy, we cleared out the debts. And so that made me be in a position where I had to wait 2 more years to go buy a home. But, we got the medical debt clear, we got everything off, and we were able to start new, and it put us in a better position. Otherwise, we would have had to pay off all the debt, and it was definitely the best position for me.
Yeah, so sometimes it is, and I hear it all the time, of course, from our customers and from our agents too. That sometimes it is because life happens.
It is.
And I love the burn the boats, because I know Tony Robbins talks about that quite a bit, like burn the boats, because then you don't have a plan B, C, D, and I see that a lot where people don't get into action. They don't get out of their comfort zone because their big why isn't big enough. And I know that's a big thing for you, is your big why. Sure. And what your plans are to do that, and also your focus on net worth, which you've been extremely successful. So talk about that a little bit, of the focus of net worth, or people who aren't really talking about wealth building and building that part of their business.
Sure. So net worth is an idea that my coach kind of got me on, and my coach is Matt Sutter. Basically he, the past couple of years, I kind of got more into it. For the longest time, we were, like I said, when we first started off, we were just trying to make ends meet, and that's what, sometimes that's all you can do. So we went from a survival mode, which is fine, you have to start there, to, okay, we were starting to make it, and we were going to, building a team and things like that. But we were cash flowing constantly, but we were always burning through cash. And that got frustrating over time. It's not a great position to be in, where you're like, man, I'm making money, but it's literally just going right through my hands and into someone else's hands. And so, kind of learning that was not what I wanted to do. And obviously long term, especially with my heart condition, I can't work forever. So I want to be in a position where I can actually make money and then keep it at some level. So what we started looking at was the idea of net worth, is that how can you build wealth over time? And what net worth looks at is basically your total accumulation, whether it's not just cash, but what equity do you have, whether it's investments, in your home, investments in stocks, real estate, or whatever. And so we're able to start tracking that. And when you actually take the time to start tracking it, and this is the most important thing, is literally just start tracking it. When you start tracking it, you start realizing what's important, and then going from there. And when you look at it month to month, you start realizing there's a bold law that they talk about: what you focus on expands. And I think it's just by focusing on it so much over the past 2 years, I've just noticed that I'm doing the activities that help grow my net worth. And really, in the past year, we've structured. My coach has helped me structure my business in such a way that my net worth has exponentially grown this past year. I don't like to say the exact numbers, but percentage-wise, it's, even this past year, I think it's almost grown by 30 to 40% month over month since 2021 began, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's huge, and I love your updates, because it is. If you're not focusing on it, you get so wrapped up in the day-to-day business, whether that's real estate or whatever business you're in. You get so wrapped up in that, you're not really paying attention to what it looks like in 20 years, 30 years, when you hopefully go to retire someday. Yeah. And so that's been a focus for our entire office, and I know that you've taken that information that we've brought in, and you've really taken it to the next level. So yeah. I love that. You keep mentioning your coach, and a lot of times I'll get pushback about, it costs X for a coach.
Sure.
Tell me why you got your coach and why you keep your coach.
I've had a coach either with MAPS or now I use a coach with Glover U. I think since 2016, somewhere in there. It's like about a year and a half into my career, I've had a coach, one or the other. And basically I've had a coach simply because of the opportunities it brings. And, you know, I don't think there's a good or a bad, great coach out there. I think MAPS is great. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I think it was a great thing. I just had an opportunity to coach with somebody who, with Glover, I think is outstanding, and that's what I use right now. But I think that if you're going to grow, you need to have someone who can see blind spots in your business. I think that's very important. And you need to have someone who is beyond where you want to be. And it's simple as that. And someone that you respect. And so if you have that and they can take your business and make you grow further, that's probably worth $1,000 or $1,500 a month or whatever, you know, the coaching things are. Because even if you pay $12,000 a year and they make you an extra $100,000 a year, then you've made a profit.
Yes.
So as simple as that.
It is, and I'm saying even Tiger Woods needs a coach. I'm sure that person isn't as good as he is in golf, yet it is that outside perspective. Someone from the outside looking in that can check out those blind spots or maybe has heard of an experience. So I always find people have 1, 2, we have agents here who have 3 coaches because sometimes it's on different aspects of your business and your life. So sure. I love that you've committed to that. One of the things I know about you and that's different from your business is you have a much more structured business, and you're here every single day. It seems like at the same time. So talk to me a little bit about how you structure your business and what day-to-day your day looks like for real estate.
My goal every single day is to lead generate between 8 and 11, and then try to get an appointment and then go on an appointment that day. If I don't set an appointment, then I just keep lead generating. And, you know, simple as that. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. I lead generate either through, I use Mojo and I call people. I do a lot of cold calling. The first thing I do is I call expireds. I've still been doing that since 2014. Never changed, and still set appointments that way. I do a lot of circle prospecting. That's how I found an investment home for myself. I still do the DT, D2. So I call my sphere through that, and I use the forward conversations. If you don't know what forward is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And what I do by that is literally just have a conversation with someone and talk through all of those things about their life, and by doing that they feel honored, and then they typically say, oh, thanks so much, blah blah blah. Okay, then they shut up, tell me about your life, and then I somehow bring real estate into it. It's really cool, which is helpful. And then by the end of the day, a lot of days I will get some type of piece of business, whether it's a buyer or seller. There's normally not a day that goes by where I don't get some business, whether it's buyer or seller, by the end of the day.
How do you take rejection? Because a lot of agents fear the rejection. How are you able to take it on, or what would your advice be to somebody who says, I don't want the rejection?
Get over it. I don't know. I mean, I'm rejected daily at least 100 times per day.
Okay.
I don't know. So many times per day. I don't even know how many times per day I'm rejected. Hung up on, cussed out, whatever. I don't care. I have like literally, most of the time I try to put people in a position where I'm bringing them service in some way. And that's really what I try to do. So if I'm cold calling people, if that's the issue, is calling people and you're like, I'm afraid of rejection, I literally come with it as to say, I am really trying to help someone else. And so if they're rejecting that, then that's on them that they're rejecting it. And so I'm not worried about it. They're not rejecting me, they're rejecting a service. So it's not about rejecting me in any way. They're rejecting something else. They're rejecting a service. Okay, great. They're not rejecting me as a person. They don't even know me. So I don't feel rejected ever by a phone call thing. It's and then I don't know. I feel like I'm always there to serve people, so it never really bothers me whenever someone says something like that. It's sort of like, okay.
That's a great way to put it, because I'll say it definitely isn't personal, because like you said, they don't know who's at the other end of the phone. They're probably not going to remember your name whatsoever. But I love that. They're rejecting the service. They're not rejecting me. It's almost like you say that to yourself so many times, because the thing is, the reality is, someone needs your help.
Someone needs real estate service out there today. The question is, you got to go find who they are.
Right. And they don't know where to go. So you just happen, it's timing a lot.
That is literally all we're trying to do, is we're trying to match up the call with the timing. Oh, and I've had that happen where someone says, you know what, actually we're going to need to sell here like in a week or something. We have to wait for a court date. And can you call me in next week? Yes, absolutely. And that happens all the time. So the question is, you just got to find the right timing so you're providing the service.
And when somebody says, "Oh, we're in a seller's market, crazy," and expireds don't work, what's your answer to that?
I've sold expireds this year, and there are expireds getting relisted. Now, a lot of times with these expired, there are less expireds right now because that almost everything's selling for any price right now. It doesn't even matter. But there are still some expireds, and most of the expireds that are coming off are for some crazy situation. They're not even pricing it right now. They're for some condition or rental situation or things like that. But they're there for some reason. So you just have to work through the situation and then try to find it and solve the problem. But it's possible to sell expireds. You just got to go through it. And same thing with FSBOs. Build a relationship with them, go for it. Because there are agents in our office that sell FSBOs. You just have to be patient enough, which I struggle with.
Struggle with the patience? Really, Steve? I love it. Well, yes, and that's the thing, is the opportunities are there, and you might have to call more people. You might have to call more often, yet you've also opened up those opportunities to buy those properties, like you said, which ultimately goes into that net worth bucket for sure, which is a big goal for you. Talk to me about team building, which of course is never an easy topic, and you've definitely experienced that kind of what works, what doesn't work. Team building, what have you learned through the last couple years? Because really you haven't been in real estate that long. What have you learned about teams and team building?
I know that I do know that you do want to have an extremely strong admin base first before you're starting to build out anything else, and that is one thing that I have figured out finally. And I do know that my admin team is very, very solid. I do know that culture on a team is extremely important, probably more important than anything else. And so you have to be able to hire to the culture just as much as the production of what you're wanting.
All right, so now we're gonna have fun. Ready? Rapid fire 5. And you have not seen these questions, so this is the fun part. This is where I'm gonna throw some questions at you. They're fun, and you just give me an answer. First thing that comes to your mind. Ready?
It's dangerous, all right?
Yes. Okay, I promise it's not. Favorite game to play with your kids, and how old are your kids?
They're 7 and 10.
7, 10. Favorite game to play with your kids?
I don't know what this called? The thing where you stick your thing in your mouth.
Oh, yeah. You try to speak.
You
read the cards. I forget the name of that, but it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts because you're like, oh. But yeah, that's really fun because it's fun to see their reactions too because they can't talk. But yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's a fun game for all ages, I would say. What has been your biggest accomplishment personally?
It's extremely broad. I have no idea how to respond to that. I don't. Can I pass and come back to that one?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give it a thought. Okay. You get to snap your fingers and choose a superhero. Batman, Superman, or Mr. Incredible? Batman, and why?
He's just cooler.
I was going to say, let me guess, because he's just cooler. What was your favorite subject in grade school?
In, like, elementary school?
Elementary, yes.
Probably, like, social studies.
Were you super good in school?
Yeah.
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 Love it. Social studies, really? That's usually everybody's worst. What did you like about social studies?
I just like geography and like I don't know, like world stuff. I don't know. It was just fun.
Yeah. Maybe you had some good teachers too.
Yeah.
That can change the game.
But well, like I was a military brat, so like we went everywhere, and it was fun. I mean, I was really good at math, like, and so that was never a challenge. But it was like fun to learn something new. So
that's cool. I didn't know that about you. Okay. What TV show do you find the funniest that's on now?
I always find the show Ridiculousness very funny because I just like watching people get hurt. So that's probably the funniest.
Does that mean
if I have to say funniest?
Yes, funniest.
If I say funniest, then yes, that always makes me laugh when I see people get hurt on that show.
Does that mean you like Impractical Jokers too? Have you seen that one?
I've watched that like only a couple times. I don't watch that much.
Not as funny.
I never really like tuned in as much.
Okay.
But
you should check that one out. If you like the other one, you'll like that one.
Is that the one with the guys? They tell each other to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good stuff,
I can see you liking that one. So, circle back. Does anything come to your mind? Biggest accomplishment? School, degree. See, I'm trying to... Sports.
No, not sports. I think it's just for me, it would probably be the always the ability to overcome things. No matter what gets thrown at me, like you can always look at my life and it's this track record. I'm always thrown in something and then I overcome it. Thrown in some kind of garbage, overcome it. Whether it's last year when things got crazy, overcame it. Lose my job get teaching, overcome it, become in real estate, and then just start over. It's like whatever life throws at me. I don't know if there's any one accomplishment. It's just the ability to just keep moving forward.
Yes.
There's a random spider.
See, that's perfect.
Sorry.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about because it is true. Think of all the things that have happened in your life that you discussed here. And you figure it out, and you just keep moving forward, and super successful. I mean, that's huge.
It just, whenever things get tough, I was just like, I never worry because I always trust myself. Not like that I'm going to be like this big, but I always don't worry because I feel like I know I can kind of find a way to make things work.
Yeah, figure it out.
Figure it out.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This is the end of this Agent Spotlight. End. Yes, we will make sure you have Steve's contact information. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.